Let's see. Yep.
Refreshing. I see her. Now we just got to make sure. Do you remember the setting that makes sure that you have audio?
I can see that my audio is transmitting right now. So yeah, we're okay.
Okay. All right. You ready to start the podcast?
I think so. You ready for me to count you down?
Yeah, hold on. I see her. Now we just got to make sure. Do you remember the setting?
Oh,
Okay.
I can hear
You got
the.
audio.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Yeah. Go ahead. Count me in.
3, 2, 1.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Off the Cut episode 17, which is respectfully dedicated to the food of the day, chocolate ice cream. But I know up in Canada, today is better known as Tuesday, June 7th. Oh, I had to double check. June 7th, 2022.
All right, Eric. What's your favorite ice cream flavor?
To be honest with you,
Mm-hmm.
ice cream's all right.
Okay.
I'm not a huge ice cream kind of guy.
Oh, okay. Okay. Is that an extension of like not liking sweets in general, or just
Yeah.
not ice cream you're crazy about?
Yeah, no, I would take ice cream over like if you give me like ice cream or cupcakes,
Mm-hmm.
I would take ice cream all day.
Yeah, most people don't actually like cupcakes that much. Turns out they kind of suck.
Yeah.
You get burned out on cupcakes after like age 11. You're like, okay, I've had enough of these.
Well, here's the thing about cupcakes and cake.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like pizza, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have your like Domino's,
Yeah.
Pizza Hut pizzas, and then you have like your really, really crappy low end, like grocery store
Exactly.
cupcakes.
Yeah, that's a gutter cake.
They're trash. They're
Yes.
horrible.
Yeah.
And then you have like what the past like 5 to 10 years, there's definitely been like this big like turn of people who make those like very high end like luxury cupcakes,
For
right?
sure, for sure. And we're not talking about those because those can actually be quite good sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like, the ones if you're like, I don't know, like if you're at like a work thing and somebody's like, I brought cupcakes,
No.
they're gonna be the ones from the grocery store. They're not gonna be the ones from the high-end boutique on the other side of town, right?
No, no.
Yeah.
And it'll be like this is some vanilla cupcake that like calling it vanilla is generous.
Yeah, it's white. Like it's just, it's what the flavor is the flavor of sugar, really.
It's what goes into a cake like sugar, flour,
Flour,
and something else.
I don't know. You can tell we both do a lot of baking.
You know what's funny is so I do like I love cooking. Cooking
Mhm.
is my thing. I hate and refuse to do baking.
Yes.
But
Yes.
Miranda loves baking.
So baking is like its own separate skill. They say
Yeah,
cooking is art and then baking is science, right? Because like if you
I could
get your
see that.
ratios just like the littlest bit wrong, then you can ruin a whole.
She's done.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't know. It's just I guess I like to be active and present in what I'm making. And for
Yeah,
me, baking is like you
it's
whip it
all
all up together and you let it sit.
it's all prep, and then you're just like, okay, I hope this turns out.
But the pro to baking is that you have time to crack open
Ooh.
an ice cold beverage.
Can I try and guess the flavor of that from the
Oh,
can? I
okay.
see hints of orange, a little bit of green,
Okay. What do you think?
like a citrusy. Yeah, like a citrus medley. It's like orange and lime and
Oh, that sounds nice. Citrus medley. That's gonna
yeah,
be
yeah.
the first flavor of my seltzer company whenever that comes. It's mango.
Mango.
Mango. Just
Damn.
finished up the case. Last mango
Damn.
tonight, baby.
I'm drinking a pineapple one right here.
Bubbly. Man,
Mhm.
so in Canada, the top of the bubblies, do they have like on the little pull tab? Do they
Yeah, yeah.
have
Little
like
cute
the thing
saying.
that Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
like those.
This one says aloha on it.
I dig it.
Yeah,
I dig it.
I dig it too. I dig it too. And I also like so the pineapple one has a little green pull tab as if it
Yes.
were like like the little leaves on top of a pineapple.
It's got the little like cutout thing in it.
Well, no, it doesn't have the cutout thing. Like here, if I hold it, no, you
Oh,
can't really
yeah,
see
she's
it.
not gonna focus.
There we
So
go.
in the States, some of them in that little rounded area on the top
Oh, it's
is
got.
actually like cut out to like a
Oh,
different shape. bubbly
That's cool. I've seen
ad
that.
cutout.
I've seen that on beer cans, but I've never seen that on a bubbly can.
Like a Budweiser. It's got like the king of
Ye-
beers.
Yeah, it's got a little crown on it. It's a nice touch.
Here's what I want to know. As a brand,
Hmm.
is there any like field research you have to do to claim that you're truly are the king of beers, or can you just slap anything on that?
I assume there's like a very long lineage of like, like it. I don't know. I realized I don't know how royalty works like halfway through this joke.
Yeah.
I was gonna say like, like the Archduke married the princess of,
hmm
but
The
yeah, I
cousin's
don't-
brother's sister's nephew.
yeah, exactly. They married
Yeah,
off.
yeah.
They started a new kingdom, and that's how they became the king of beers.
But here's my genuine question.
Yeah.
How can you be the king of something if you're an inanimate object?
Good question. Well, I am the king of woodworking, so
Mm. Mhm.
I think it's a matter of making the claim and then hoping nobody asks you to back it up.
It's like you've seen the movie Elf, right? The Will Ferrell
Yes.
Elf.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
When he goes into the coffee shop and he's like, "Congratulations, world's best cup of
Oh,
coffee."
yeah.
And it's like and they're like, "This is the worst cup of coffee." Like you could put that on anything. You could put that on your YouTube channel, world's best YouTube channel.
I know. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I think world's best is not really an objective claim. Like, you can't say, like, I'm trying to think of, like, a good example of this. You can't make, like, an objective claim about your product unless you can back it up. You know what I mean? Like, you can't say, like, I don't know, 50% more bubbles than the next like seltzer water company if you don't actually have that,
Yeah.
because that's a testable claim. But saying that
Yeah.
you're like the king of something or even the world's best, which to me sounds like a testable claim, so I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, you definitely make a good point about a quantitative measurement.
Yeah.
But if you're just talking about, oh, this is the best cupcake, this is the best beer,
Yeah.
says who?
Yeah. Well, it says one person, and then from them forward, you can put it on your can, and because it's a subjective claim.
That's
So,
what I'm saying.
yeah,
It's like the
yeah.
4 out of 5 dentists recommend this
Yes.
toothpaste.
Yes.
Well, are you saying you just interviewed 5 people, or did you interview 100 and found
Yeah.
4 of them and then found one who didn't, and now you're saying 4 out of 5?
Yeah, yeah. Or they'll get 5 dentists, or and they'll put them all on the payroll, and they'll say which toothpaste do you recommend. So
That kind of reminds me, those like fitness infomercials
mm-hmm,
where they'd be
mm-hmm.
like, I used this asinine piece of fitness equipment and I lost 70 pounds, right?
Yeah, yeah.
How much do you want to bet that they find people that are in like killer shape
Yes.
and then they're just like, we will pay you a dump truck of money to
Yeah,
gain weight.
yeah.
And then we basically film this commercial in reverse.
Yeah, yeah, they could definitely do that. One thing that I've noticed that they do all the time is the lighting is always different between the before
Mhm.
and after.
Mhm.
And from making videos that lighting can make a huge ton of difference in how something looks.
And you'll notice their facial expressions.
Yeah.
On the before overweight photos, they just look really sad and like
Mhm.
depressed, and the
Mhm.
after photos
Big beam
looks
and
like they
smile.
won $1 million.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, because they just got the dump truck of money dropped off to them, right?
Yeah. Speaking of dump trucks of money,
Oh,
we want to thank our returning top tier patrons,
mm-hmm.
Scott Eastman at Eastie's Woodshop and Corey Duvall,
Yes.
sending us dump trucks of money every month to support the podcast and get access to the after show. And
Yes, sir.
Corey, your t-shirt's on its way.
Ooh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so quick story about Corey, and I think this will tie us into something that I know is on your mind. So Corey
Sure.
messaged me earlier today or yesterday, I can't remember, and he said, "Hey, what's up with Eric's Instagram?
God.
It's all messed up, and I can't see any of his posts." So, do you want to let the people at home know what's going on with you?
Sure. So, I mean, first off, your guess is as good as mine.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh well, I have a
so-
guess, but I'll let you explain first, and then I'll say what I think it was.
On June 3rd, which is, I don't know, Thursday or Friday or something,
Mhm.
I get this pop-up that, I mean, you've probably seen these, Zach, looks like that.
Yes. Yep.
It says, "We've suspended your account on June 3rd, 2022. You have 30 days remaining to disagree with the decision." And then underneath it says, "What does it mean?" And it says, exclamation point. "Your account or activity on it doesn't follow our community guidelines on human exploitation."
Oh.
And so I Googled this, and apparently, this is all about underage sex trafficking,
Oh. Okay. Well, I did
which
say that might get you in trouble.
which if you've seen anything on my Instagram, there obviously is nothing like that. And
Well, you did that one about how to make a hidden compartment in your trunk to transport people across the border.
but so then I asked a couple people, I was like, "Hey, did like my account get hacked or anything?"
Hmm.
And everyone's like, "No, I never saw anything weird." And I have like the multi-step verification thing that makes it
Right.
an
Yeah.
nightmare to log into your account.
It sure
So if
does.
somebody were to get into my account, I would have known about it,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And then underneath it says, "Your account is not visible to people on Instagram and you can't use it." And then it says, "What can I do? If you think that we made a mistake, you have 30 days after we suspended your account to disagree with the decision, or your account will be permanently disabled. There are 30 days remaining."
Hmm.
So underneath it has a big blue button
Yep.
that says disagree with the decision.
Hmm.
So I hit that, and they're like, "Okay, we'll get back to you in 24, 48 hours."
Yeah.
24 to 48 hours rolls by. Try to log back into Instagram. Acting real funky. Even my personal account had been suspended for whatever reason.
Oh, interesting.
Very strange, right?
Yeah.
So I disagree with the decision on my personal account for the exact same thing.
Yeah.
It said human exploitation.
Really?
Got back into my account within 10 or 15 minutes. So my
Oh.
personal account is working because I messaged you and a few other
Yeah.
people. That's working. Still have heard nothing back from Instagram regarding my business account.
Right.
So I did tons of research on it. Was reading like forums and all these, newsletters and whatnot about it.
Hmm.
And there's this like kind of back end link through Meta, who's the controlling owner of Facebook and
Yes.
Instagram,
Yep.
where you basically go on and it's as close to customer service as you're ever going to get with
Yes.
Instagram.
Yes.
And what they basically want you to do is you had to fill out like your email, all of your contact information, um, send anything that kind of shows that you're the owner of the account or whatever. And I did that, and then they sent me an email that's like, you need to basically take a photo of you like this. I'm basically holding
Yes.
my
Yeah.
hand up by my
Yeah.
side with a piece of paper. And this piece of paper has like a 16 or 12 digit code. Then you have to write your name and your username. So I sent that
Wow.
back to them. Okay. Haven't heard anything back. Of course, they give you no time frame of
Yeah. It's
if you're ever going to hear anything back.
it's whenever Mark Zuckerberg gets around to it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So then, still hadn't heard anything back. And I was doing more research and I found out that there's also one that's very similar, but it's specifically for business pages.
Yes. Okay.
And so on this one, they're like, "We want you to send a copy of um, any business identification." So like I could send like my W-9, which is
Hmm.
like a
Hmm.
like a tax entity thing.
Hmm.
I can send like my business registration. I can send my like domain registration.
Yep.
I can send like order fulfillments, invoices, all kinds of stuff. I sent every single piece of information, and they said you only needed one. I
Yeah.
sent
Everything.
everything. So that I found that one this morning.
Okay.
Still haven't heard anything back.
Okay.
So
There is a way to talk to real human. I don't know that it'll do you any good. So when I was on vacation, I think I talked to you about this. I had a post removed
Mhm.
for encouraging self harm. It was a picture of me like
I had the
writing
same thing.
Oh, really? Interesting.
That
So,
was when I did that stupid Timberland thing.
oh, right. Yes, 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 yes. Now I remember. Um, so I had to kind of go through this whole rigmarole too because it locked me out of the branded content tool when I had that post removed, so I
Oh.
couldn't do any sponsored posts.
Yeah.
And so if you go on to oh man, the Facebook Business Manager page, there is a way to
Facebook
talk.
Business Manager. Okay.
Yeah, so there's a way to talk to a customer service rep there, but the problem is they are just for doing ads on Facebook essentially. It's a real human that at Meta that you can actually
Mm.
talk to, but
Okay.
yeah, so they weren't able to help me when I had the issue with the post being removed, but
Okay.
maybe because it's a more severe thing, it's account wide
Yeah.
versus it might be worth trying to at least talk to them.
No, 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 absolutely. I appreciate you telling me that. I mean, they might be able to direct me towards someone.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I got no idea what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't stress about it. Like again, going through that, having that post remove thing, that took I don't know 5 days to
Okay.
work itself
Okay.
out. Um, and also like no feedback at any point throughout it. Like I was reporting it, I was like disputing it, and
Oof.
nothing. So I would chill out, until it's
Yeah.
been at least a week or something, and just look at it as like a little bit of a vacation, honestly.
Yeah, and I mean, so like pretty much when this had happened, I texted you
Hmm.
and I was like, dude, right now I'm race car in the red. Like I'm
Yes,
10
yeah,
out of 10 pissed off.
yes, yeah.
And I know you were probably like I don't know what to say, but like I I just took some time to myself and I'm mad, I'm frustrated, but I've come to terms with it now.
Yeah, yeah,
There is nothing that I can do. It's out of my hands.
yes. I think you'll be fine. Like I've seen many, many reports of this happening to other people, and they
Yeah,
always do eventually get their account back. It's sometimes it's a little bit of work, it's some paperwork, like you're already experienced.
sure.
But I've never once seen a story where somebody's like, "I lost my account and I never got it back."
Yeah,
And I've read dozens of these accounts, so I think it will be
yeah.
fine in the end.
I'm I'm
Um,
I'm being patient with
Here
it.
is my theory. One, I mean, obviously the whole post about how to build a compartment in your trunk, that was so smart. I think it
That's
might
sarcasm for anybody who can't
yeah,
see
yeah.
through that.
Yeah. I think it might actually be trolls. I think it's probably people
Yeah.
reporting your account just for shits and giggles.
That's kinda what I was thinking, and is it like me firing back at trolls, like, saying stupid shit to them? Ah, damn it. There we go. Gotta
Oh,
bleep this one now.
I already said the S word a second ago.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Explicit show.
Erica's
Okay.
making notes right now so that he can mark this episode explicit for the children at home so they don't get
Yeah,
exposed
so
to
I
ideas.
guess apparently, like, when we upload it to our podcast service, it has this, like, slider that's, like, explicit content, not.
Hmm.
And I've read that if you continually hit it's not explicit content,
Yeah.
but then you get reported as it being explicit content, you can run into some issues. So
Yeah.
I just always just like if I think we swore on that episode, I just hit explicit.
I do the same thing with my YouTube videos. There's like an option to say, like, is there any swearing in this for, for at revenue? And I'm
Yeah, for
always like,
advertisers.
I don't really know if I swore anywhere in it. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit yes on every single
Yeah.
video.
Yeah. But I guess so going back to the whole Instagram thing.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, I'm frustrated, I'm
I
mad
bet. I
about it.
bet.
But like I told you, I've come to terms with it. So
Hmm.
I think what I want to do with this is to give people good business advice
Yeah.
with
Yeah. True.
out of my struggle. So
Yep.
it let's just hypothetically say, worst case scenario, my account is deleted and I
Hmm.
have to start over.
Hmm.
Bummer. It's not the end of the world.
Hmm.
I have so many other revenue streams that I'm going to be just fine.
Yep. Yep.
And so I guess what I want to tell people is like anybody doing like a woodworking business or content business, any business,
Yes.
do not have only one stream of income that if the tiniest thing happens, you're out of business. You can't feed your family or anything
Yeah.
like that.
Yep.
You've got to diversify it.
Yep. Yep. I mean, it's great advice, and I was thinking of a way to like try to explain for the average person like what your situation is like, and I wanted to kind of say like it's almost like if you had a job somewhere, and they were like, you might be like you're fired for like do
Maybe.
yeah, exactly, right? Like, kind of leaving the door like if you want to dispute this firing, like
Exactly.
that's kind of the position they put you in, right? But you're a guy with 6 or 7 jobs and it's like one of your jobs is like you might be fired. Probably not, but
Exactly.
you might be. So it's a completely different situation when, you're looking at losing 10, 20% of your revenue versus your entire,
Of
livelihood,
course.
right? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Let's say my entire business was Instagram and I did no sponsors. I don't even know how you'd only have a business on Instagram, but
Yeah.
you had no sponsorships, you had no client stuff, you had no affiliate stuff, no YouTube, no TikTok,
Mhm.
no plan sales, none of that stuff. And it
Mhm.
was just like poof, gone.
Yeah.
You would be screwed.
You'd be screwed. You'd be screwed. And I mean, for any content creator out there, being on multiple platforms is so key. I found even just for like my own mental health, like, like I think we talked about this last week. Like sometimes you have ups and downs on social media, right? Like,
Oh, right now it's in the tank.
yeah, yeah,
But everybody's seeing that because it's warm out. Like YouTube, I'm
yeah.
sure your YouTube has gone to hell within the last month.
Yeah, it's not
Pretty
as,
good big
I
dip.
wouldn't say hell, but it's definitely down from where it was.
Good 20-30%
Yes.
dump. Yeah,
Yes, correct.
everyone's seeing it.
Yeah. So, oh no, I can't. So for my own mental health, like you might be hot on one platform while you're tanking on another platform. And
Oh,
it's like,
yeah.
okay, well, it's not so bad. It's like it's spread out. But when I was just only doing Instagram, it was like, oh man, this week sucks. And it will really bum me out sometimes. So it's,
Yeah.
not only is there revenue diversification, but there's like dopamine diversification.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
for sure. And one thing that's helped me a lot is I will kind of like I pretty much only look at like high level top analytics, like on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
How is this video doing compared to the last ones?
Yeah.
I don't dive into the super deep details because I think that would drive me nuts.
I also don't know how much you really get out of it. At a bird's eye view, you can make strategic decisions, but if you get too mired in the details, you're like, oh, people are clicking out. Like at this point in the video, maybe I should like, re-edit my videos in the future so that I
Oh
don't do
god.
these things. It's like, no, 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 don't worry about that stuff. I think
No.
that's you're getting a little too in the weeds there, and you never really
Yeah.
know what it might be.
It's a nightmare.
Yeah.
It's a nightmare. But I think that covers the Instagram
Yep.
thing.
Yep.
Let's let people know what's going on.
Yep. Yep.
Um,
Put the word out.
put the word out. We'll figure it out. I probably should put something up on YouTube.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a good idea.
just kind of let people know. I mean, YouTube's still kicking.
Yep.
Here's the thing. I have a YouTube video, and Craig, you guys are great. Whitney, you're fantastic. That like I can't think of a better person to work with. But I'm supposed to put this video out end of June. They've already paid me for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I know they already have the plans and everything on their website. They don't care when I put the video out. So
Right.
let's hypothetically say I don't get my Instagram back. Do I just post the video and then like have Instagram posts come
Mm.
out after the video's out, or do I
Yeah.
delay the video or
Yeah. I mean that I'm sure that would be fine. I used to get really precious about like syncing up the release on like, if I did a big project, I wanted to have the YouTube video drop the same day as I had like the
the
first
final
video about
post?
it on Instagram. I don't know that it really matters. There's not that much cross traffic. It's like,
No.
1-2% at most. So,
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. So even if the video's out and I'm like, but the thing is, like, I save stories because I'm so far ahead.
right.
I have like a catalog of stories that I kind of want to post like as I'm making the build. But
Right.
like you said, I don't think people really care.
Yeah, yeah. That I think it's really hard to get somebody to leave a platform like
Oh God,
Instagram or
yeah.
whatever. So at the end of the day, like, what are you really that worried about? You have an Instagram audience and you have a YouTube audience, and never the twain shall meet.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm just keeping my pace on
Yeah.
YouTube videos, and when slash if Instagram comes around,
Yep.
we'll just throw stuff at it and see what happens.
Yep. Yep. I
But,
think that's a good policy.
you know, it is what it is.
I think what really happened is you were too close to that $35,000 bonus, and they were like, we got to suspend his
So,
account before he hits it.
I know. So last time I had checked it, I was at like 7 or $800.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll take that.
Yeah.
I'll
Oh, I
take
wonder
that.
what would happen. Okay, so say hypothetically, God forbid that happens, but they do ban your account.
Sure.
Do they have to pay you out for money that you've earned, but they haven't paid out yet?
My assumption would be somewhere in the terms and conditions.
Hmm.
It's like we can
Yeah.
not give you this payment because
Yeah.
you violate. Apparently, I violated
Yeah. Yeah.
the platform rules or something. I don't know. I don't know. But the good thing is, like I told you before we got on the call, I reached out to the sponsors who I explicitly owed stuff to this month, and they were like, "Oh, this is out of your control. We totally get it.
That's great.
No problem. We'll work through it. All that we ask is you just keep us updated." They're
Yeah.
like, if you have to make a new account and you don't have any followers, we get it. It's cool. Or if you don't get your account back for 2 months, they're like, it's cool. And I was like, I'll retroactively post stuff. Like if
Yeah.
I miss 2 months, I'll give you two extra in the month. They're like,
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
problem. Don't worry about it. This is the least of your concerns. So
Well, that's good. That's good.
that that is another reason why you don't work with brands that are a huge pain in the ass
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
for
Mm-hmm.
things that are out of your control. But
Mm-hmm. Very good advice. So, Eric, what do you say? Should we do some questions?
let's hit some questions. Let's change the topic.
Okay.
Change the
Okay.
topic.
Let's talk about something that we can control.
All right. All right. Here's the thing. We're not reading. I'm not reading them. I'm just picking one. Boom.
Okay.
Peaks and because this is what happens is I have this list of questions and I always try to find one that like kind of segues into something that we've been talking about. But then I feel like I never get to some of these questions. So
Yeah.
I'm just hitting at it blind. This is Peaks and Valleys Building Co.
Mhm.
And so I'm just gonna read it and then we're gonna turn it into a question.
Okay.
Zach's perspective on being a GC and furniture maker.
Oh.
Difficulty transitioning, issues, tool choice.
I don't really understand the end of it there, the
Yeah,
tool choice part. I wouldn't say I've really transitioned from being a GC. Like I was at a client's house today laying hardwood floor before I came here and did this.
and that's
So
general contractor for people who don't know the abbreviation.
correct, yes. So I mean the furniture making isn't even really the business, right? Like the business is the content and all the stuff that
Yes,
comes with that.
because you don't
So
sell furniture.
yes, exactly. So there's definitely been struggles like trying to, start one when you have time commitments for the other one. Like, there's a video that I would really love to finish today but I had to be at a client's house, laying the
Sure.
hardwood floor. So there's definitely a lot of struggles there, but then there's also some great crossover. Like the tools are the same and the workspace is the same
Yeah.
and the vehicle's the same. It's all tax write-offs, baby. So
You're just writing everything off.
exactly. My entire life is a write-off. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I think the biggest thing is managing my schedule between the two
Okay.
and trying to do the things that I want to do while still balancing, like I have employees, I got to keep them fed and stuff like that. So
Yeah, of
that's
course.
that's for sure the biggest struggle. And then what there was something else in that question too?
Difficulty transitioning, issues, or tool choice.
Okay. Yeah, I mean I guess yeah, not really transitioning. I don't know what the tool choice thing is. I try to think like most of the stuff that I use for contracting, I find is like just fine for you know doing woodworking projects. Like I didn't run
Sure.
out and buy like a Festool impact gun because my DeWalt impact gun wasn't up to snuff or anything
Yeah, it
like
doesn't
that.
matter.
Yeah, they still just drive screws just fine. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So here's my question that I have kind of going off of this.
sure.
I know that with like when you're throwing up studs and
Hmm.
stuff like that, like you're cutting 2x4s.
Yeah,
They is if they're within an eighth of an inch, you're fine.
Yeah.
for the most part.
Yeah, I would say, the tolerances in the construction world, it depends what you're doing. Like rough framing, yeah, an eighth might be kind of pushing it, but like a 16th or something like that. Like, here's what I usually do when I'm, say framing a wall is I'll put the top plate in, put the bottom plate in, and then I'll cut the studs and
Yeah.
make them a little bit too big and then bang them in with a hammer, essentially. So you're friction fitting
Oh,
each one.
okay.
So it's a little bit of a skill, but you're like, it's a little bit of a learning curve to it, but you get pretty
Sure.
good at measuring things exactly right. And, every once in a while, yeah, stud gets cut a little too small and you either throw it away or, use it for somewhere else or you put a little shim
Yeah.
under it. So,
Yeah, you make it work.
but yeah, generally the margins for error are much larger in the, construction home renovation world.
That makes sense. Do you ever find it difficult where, like, say you've been working on a site all day and you come home and you're like, all right, I'm going to put together this piece of furniture that has the super tight tolerance. Is it ever difficult to like transition that brain of like rough framing to super tight tolerance finished furniture stuff?
A little bit, yeah. Like, there's definitely times I'm like, oh, I wish I was still working on studs, where you do have those wider
Heyo.
tolerances. Yeah, yeah, sure. No, that's my other job. That comes later.
That's what you moonlight as.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I think it is, but it's also like a nice change of pace sometimes too. Because like, if you're working on something where there's big tolerances, like chances are it's because it's heavy or big or awkward. Whereas like the most of the woodworking stuff I do, it's not physically taxing as much, right? It's usually more precision work. You're
Yeah,
usually like, you're sitting at a workbench as opposed to sweating out in the sun. So there's,
sure.
yeah, yeah.
Sweating 2x4s over your shoulders all day.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So it's
I,
it's a little bit easier to change. It's like a change of scenery and a change, like I don't know. You're changing gears essentially, right? You're like, okay, let's slow this down. We got to be a little more precise now.
yeah.
And I actually like that aspect of it because it gives me a little more variety in my life.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel that. I feel that. Speaking of change of scenery,
Oh,
I'm changing mine up.
here we
This
go.
is hey yo,
Oh, little
Sunny Cafe,
sunny
baby. I'm in a
cafe.
Sunny Cafe now. But
For I was just gonna say, for those of you who don't know, we are currently live streaming
oh
on
yeah.
YouTube. So if you're watching on YouTube, you get to see my boring office background, whereas Eric is in a very nice cafe right
I'm
now.
in a nice cafe. Which also we should probably mention the what do we call it? The massive delay that we had with the podcast coming out.
Yeah, yeah, that's my bad. That's
We
my
both had a
bad.
lot going on.
Yeah, yeah, it was a busy couple weeks for me over here.
They
Um,
are slated to come out. We got 15 just came out yesterday.
yes,
And 16 I've got scheduled to come out, I think, on Friday or Saturday.
yeah, we
So
do.
then 17 will come out, I don't know, like middle next week or something. We'll be
Okay.
back on schedule.
We do record these on a regular interval, but it's one of those things where it's like Eric and I finish recording and then we go have dinner and then
Yeah.
it's like 10 or 11 o'clock and I'm like, I don't want to like sit down and edit the podcast. So I'll do it tomorrow. And then tomorrow becomes the next day and then the next day.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And like we have a blast doing this, but as far as like the business goes,
Yeah.
there are things that get priority
Yeah. Yeah.
over this
Yeah. Yeah. Although,
because this isn't a huge moneymaker yet.
look, we got patrons and we're responsible to them. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
That's why we at least like today I threw out that post just to let people know what was going on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
But
It's once the more we do this, the faster the editing will get. Honestly, at some point, I would love to just maybe even hire my video editor. Be like, hey, because it doesn't take me that long, but it's about finding the 15-20 minutes to do it in the middle of a busy schedule. But hey, if we
dude,
could like just pay somebody to do it, I would be
if
down for that.
you tell me how much he'll charge
Okay,
and
okay.
we'll pay him.
I'll have a
Because
conversation with him and see if he's interested.
that'd be so easy.
Yeah,
Give it to him because I'm sure his turnaround, like if you're getting paid for it, I don't know, a day or two.
yeah, exactly. So
So I'd be totally in throwing money at that. Like
okay,
that's one of those things we've talked about.
yeah,
I'm down for throwing money at something that alleviates, and I know I don't do the editing, but would alleviate our collective
yes.
effort and time.
I think of it like I'm buying free time for myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you're
Yeah.
just taking stuff off your plate, giving it to somebody else. Speaking of though, I spent like an hour, 2 hours today troubleshooting with my video editor. So I have a NAS, which is like a little server with a bunch of hard
Yeah.
drives in it.
Yep.
And he logs into it from his home and he downloads all the footage that I shoot and then he edits it.
Sure.
He's having an issue right now where it's like this trickle, like slow, super slow download.
Uh,
And I pay for like the most ridiculous upload speed possible to
sure.
make that work. So now I was like on the phone with my internet provider for like I don't know an hour and a half today, just trying to figure out what the problem is and why it's not working. So that was fun.
Who do you have? You want to call? You want to
Oh,
air any grievances?
no, yeah, I'll say it. I'll say it. Bell. If anybody's in Canada and they're looking for an ISP, maybe think about not going with Bell.
That's the same as like AT&T, isn't it?
Very
Here?
similar logos. So actually, there's another one. So in Canada, we have like 3 or 4 providers.
You got
What
Rogers, right?
Rogers is the big one, and at some point, Rogers was like allied or had some sort of partnership with AT&T because for a while it used to all the Rogers cell phones were branded as Rogers AT&T.
I thought Rogers and Verizon were the same.
I mean, maybe now potentially, but this
I could be wrong.
I'm talking back in like the 90s or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Interesting stuff.
What a nightmare.
Very
What a
similar
nightmare.
logo between Bell and AT&T though. They have that same shade of blue.
I feel you. All right,
Yeah.
I'm gonna hit you with another question.
Okay.
Again, oh, let me find my mouse. There we go. This one here. What is the most? Oh, sorry, I didn't even say the name.
Oh.
How rude of me. Willard Furniture.
Ooh.
What is the most rewarding part of woodworking for each of you? Hmm.
I mean, yeah, it's got to
The
be
money.
Yeah.
No.
I was going to say it's got to be when the project's done. You know, like that
I agree.
that last little touch when you're like, okay, wow, now I have something new to like, set up at home and display. And I don't know, it's a nice feeling when you've like accomplished something.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you're like me in that you enjoy building something. However, when it's done, you enjoy like the utilitarianness and you're like, man, I built that.
Yes, 100%. There's a reason that I don't build many things that are like strictly like okay, so both my dad and my grandfather are artists, right? And my
Sure.
grandfather is a pretty successful sculptor. And people always ask me like, why don't you like do you do sculpting? Like do you do any art or anything like that? And I've always kind of said no because I don't know, the like just art for the sake of art doesn't interest me that much. Like if you're creating something that's just aesthetic, that it doesn't really do that much for me. But something that's utilitarian and aesthetic, that I really like.
I get that.
So you'll see like in all the stuff I build, it's never really like I never really do like wall art or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's usually
what
has
about your diffuser panels behind you?
it's got some function in it, right? It makes my voice sound clean and crispy when I'm recording this. So
That late night soothing deep voice.
yeah, exactly. People say, oh man, on TikTok, people say I sound like Kermit the Frog a lot, which I understand. That's fair. Who else do I get? I get Doug DeMiro, who's like a car reviewer.
Oh, okay. This will be a fun segment.
Yeah. Does anybody ever say like you sound like anybody? Because you do a lot of
hold on.
voiceovers
Doug
too.
who?
Doug DeMiro. So it's
DeMiro.
DeMouro, I think.
DeMiro. Is he a black guy?
No, he's like a.
Oh, okay. I see him.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I think I've seen that that channel.
He's
Okay.
he's a pretty
I couldn't
popular
pick
car
out his
YouTuber.
voice though. Couldn't pick out his voice.
Uh,
Interesting.
sometimes people say I sound like Mr. Beast, and then Matt Pat, who I don't really know who that is, but I've gotten that one quite a few times too.
Matt Pat.
Yeah, MATPAT.
Matt Pat is American internet personality.
There you go.
Matt Pat YouTube game theorist comments on
Ooh.
topics such as logic, scientific accuracy, and the lore of various video games in the gaming industry. Oh, he's from Medina, Ohio. That's where
Oh.
what's his face? Jay
Jay?
Mowder
Yeah, yeah,
lives.
nice.
Okay, not too far from me. Um, I've gotten what is the one I always get is some dude from one of the Twilight movies.
Oh,
They say I look or it's either I look or I sound like someone. I've never seen the movie, so I have no idea who it is.
there's two guys. There's Batman, the new Batman,
Twilight
and
guy cast.
the guy who looks like a llama. I don't think you look like either of them, but maybe you might sound like one of them.
Maybe. I mean, I don't I feel like I have decent self-awareness. I'm looking at pictures of these folks and I don't think I really look like any of them.
Robert Pattinson, I think his name is, and Taylor Lautner is the guy.
Yeah, I see those 2 guys, but I mean, I don't think I really look like much of them, but
Yeah, no, I don't really get a strong
I don't
resemblance.
know. I
Yeah.
don't know. Maybe I moonlight as them when I'm working on studs late at night. What was the other one I've gotten is Bill Skarsgård.
Oh, that I could see. Yes.
Okay.
That I see.
Or so if for anybody who doesn't know who Bill Skarsgård, I could see that.
Wait, Bill
He
Skarsgård?
is he played the clown. I guess you would call him Pennywise would be the correct name. He played Pennywise in the newest Stephen King remakes of It. So It and It Chapter 2.
Yeah,
He was
yeah.
also in Deadpool.
You know who I'm thinking of is Alexander Skarsgård.
Oh, that's like his brother, right?
Are they brothers? Okay, okay.
Or cousins or something.
Maybe that's why. I
Well,
think you
this
look
this
more
guy
like
looks jacked, so sure, I'll take that.
yeah.
And he was on Muscle and Fitness. Tarzan, he was Tarzan. I'll take that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Guy
Uh-oh.
looks like a nice hunk of meat. Oh god. All right, before we get kicked off the air, let's move to a different question. Not talk about attractive men. Um okay, self-maker projects.
That's the name.
Self-maker dot projects.
Okay.
I dig it. Did you have some moments in the past where you wanted to quit woodworking? Absolutely.
Oh yeah, like every other day.
Yeah.
Every time something like I cut something and it doesn't line up, I'm like, oh, I'm out of here. Screw this.
Dude, my stupid table saw. Did I tell you it's dying?
Yes, you did.
Oh my god, it was infuriating right now. It makes me want to quit woodworking.
You know, I think there's something about woodworking and like building things where if it doesn't go your way, it gets
It's so
frustrating
bad.
really quick. I don't know if it really comes across in my YouTube videos that much, but there'll be a lot of times when I'm like just like fuming mad because like something didn't work. Like,
Oh, F
like
this.
yeah, exactly. Like, you do like an epoxy pour or something and it doesn't work out. You're like, oh, this
been there.
sucks. Yeah.
I've been
Yeah.
there. Honestly,
Yeah.
yes, I have those moments where I want to quit, but for me, those are usually the times where I go, all right, I'm going to go inside. I'm going to stop working on this and I'm going
Mhm.
to come back tomorrow and we're going to be fine. I have never genuinely contemplated, I'm done with this. I'm selling all my, like, sure, you have those, like bratty, young, 5-year-old moments where you get
Yeah.
real pissed off and
Yeah.
you storm out, but like,
Yeah.
you don't, I've never genuinely thought I was going to stop woodworking.
Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate about me. Like I might have had it for like 15 minutes.
Sure,
I'll be
sure,
like,
sure.
screw this. I'm not, I'm not cut out for this stuff. But I've never had like a 48-hour period where I'm like,
No.
I'm not cut out for that. I don't want to do this anymore. So it's
I
usually a
should have
very
never
fleeting
made this my
feeling.
business.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
No, I've really never had it. I mean, here's the thing. I think just with anything, like you could call this our job. We definitely put enough hours
Oh,
and effort into it to
oh
call
yeah.
this a
Oh yeah.
job. With any job, no matter how much you enjoy it, you're always going to have those moments where you're mad, you're
Correct.
frustrated, you're
Correct.
going to have highs and lows.
Yes.
I have substantially more highs with this job than I do lows.
For sure. And I find the lows are lower than or not, sorry, the lows aren't as low. I misspoke
Yeah,
there.
they're not as severe.
Yes, exactly. I'll
Agreed.
have like 15 minutes where I'm frustrated at like a part not fitting together, or something I did didn't work out, but it's not quite the same as, like sometimes like in my construction business there'd be like, you know, like a month span where we didn't have any work coming in, and that would like seriously stress me out, and it's like
Yeah.
so that's yeah.
So what do you guys do, like, with your employees if you don't have work coming in? Like, are you still
It
gotta pay them, right?
No, so a lot of the people who we employ, it's hourly. So we usually employ people for specific projects. So we'll say,
Okay.
look, we're going to start this project from this date to this date. You'll have solid work through that time. And, like we'll do our best to string those things together, but you do end up losing people because they just move on to
Yeah.
other. Yeah.
So do you operate as employees, or are they like 1099 subcontractors? I know your tax
Oh,
thing is different in
yes,
Canada.
I can't remember. They would be more like no, because we still pay unemployment insurance for them.
Oh, okay, so they're not independent
No, they're
contractors.
not
That's
independent.
the
Yeah.
term we would use here.
No, we're still making like, pension contributions for them, or well,
Okay.
I don't know if you have I think you call it social security, not we call it the
Yeah,
Canadian pension plan.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah.
The one where you put more money into it than you'd ever get out of it?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Is that how yours works too?
Yeah, yeah. That's how they all work. It's a big Ponzi scheme.
You have a negative rate of return in the
Yes,
US.
yes. You'd be better off taking your money and putting it in like a savings account where you're earning 1% or something. It's
No, in the
ridiculous.
US, you'd be better off literally putting it in a shoebox,
Oh, really? Oh,
getting
nice.
0% interest. You
Oh,
would be
that's
better off
fantastic.
than taking Social Security.
Well, it's so nice of the government to manage your money like that for you.
I know. Which in the US, if you're I think if you're like a member of clergy or like a church member or something
Sure.
like that, you can be a conscientious objector to it and
Ooh,
not pay Social Security.
really? So again, I'm a little bit of an economics nerd.
That was your conspiracy. So
Yes, true.
here's a plug for our after show. We get talking about really hot and spicy stuff. So we had like a whole after show where we were talking about conspiracy theories, and
Hmm.
Zach is a financial conspiracy
Yes,
theorist.
I got all sorts of financial conspiracies. I could go for all day on that stuff. Um, oh, what was I saying? So one of the I was reading an article where they were like, you know, the best option would be to let people opt out of Social Security, like have it just be optional, and then be able to make those same contributions to a private plan where they
Mm.
actually invest the money for you and and grow it. And because the problem with Social Security is that it literally is a Ponzi scheme. Like there's no way that there's going to be enough money there to they're taking people your current contributions and paying it to old people, right? Which is
Yeah.
which is how a Ponzi scheme operates. So it's not like it's not like the government's actually saving your money for when you
Yeah.
retire. They're taking your money and giving it to somebody else, and then when you go to collect, hopefully there'll be somebody paying into it. But the way demographics are going right now, that might not be the case.
It's like I feel like I'm part of that Always Sunny in Philadelphia Invigoron
Yeah,
uh
yeah.
Invigoron pyramid scheme thing.
Yes,
It's a
100%.
reverse funnel system.
Yeah, yeah,
Jason Grissom in the chat just said you'd be better off using that money as fuel to keep you warm in the winter.
yeah. Jason is correct.
All right, I'm hitting another question.
Okay.
God,
Oh
I'm
wait,
going to
no,
top on this.
wait.
Wait,
I had a
what?
question for you.
Oh,
So sorry. Let me hit the brakes, pump the brakes here for a second. Um, I don't know why I thought about
oh,
this.
damn it.
I was just gonna say if you were doing woodworking, okay, yes. So say you did get so frustrated on a project, you were like, I am quitting woodworking.
Yeah,
What would you do? What would be your? Would you still do online content? And if so, what would
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans? Yeah, you'd be like a Andrew Skarsgård or an Alexander Skarsgård impersonator.
So we that would be too funny like that. You know what I could do? I could be I could like we talked about in the after show. I could be a celebrity's clone,
That's true. That's
like
very
Taylor
true.
Swift
Yes.
or
Yes.
Avril Lavigne's.
Yes.
Come make up.
What
Oh,
was the name
money.
of the Avril Lavigne clone? Like April or
Chloe.
no? It wasn't Chloe, was it?
I don't know. I thought it was.
No, Melissa. Melissa.
That's right, Melissa. I figured you'd have to know. She's Canadian.
She is Canadian. Grew up a couple hours away from me.
Uh, uh, well, I
Yes,
feel like I was gonna say something. Oh,
but
what were you
seriously,
asking?
what would your niche
Oh,
be if you weren't doing woodworking?
if I wasn't doing woodworking. So when I had first kicked around the idea of like starting some sort of business, I mean, this was like way back in the day when I was like, ah, so I went to college for engineering. We talked about that.
Hmm.
When I realized that engineering wasn't what I wanted to do, I had started to kind of like, just churning ideas in my head and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Um, one of the things that came up was like c- trying to develop some sort of like fitness brand, maybe like
Oh,
a personal trainer or
yeah,
something like
yeah.
that. But then I instantly got the what's the term you call it? Like the imposter syndrome. I'm like, who
Sure,
am I to tell people how to
sure.
exercise or how to eat and stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that?
Gotcha.
So I like killed that idea. But I
Hmm.
don't know.
But
I
then,
think
like, I mean, you got to over that with woodworking, right? Because like the world's best. I don't know if I'm shattering any illusions here. You're not the world's greatest woodworker. You're a very good woodworker, but like I assume,
easy.
I assume that same imposter syndrome feeling would have to be there with woodworking too. Is the point I'm trying to make?
To me, I never really felt the imposter syndrome as far as woodworking because I think and you seem very similar with the way you present your content. It's not this is how you do it. It's
Hmm.
this is how I did it.
Yes. Yeah.
You
So,
know what I
but
mean?
do you not think the same thing could apply to like working out and
I don't
fitness?
know. I think there's a lot more science
Yeah.
and like research and
Yeah.
medicinal paraphernalia and
Yeah.
all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff that could be like, well, actually, this study shows that cabbage, does da 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 da. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I didn't want to be in the weeds with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I'm sure you could get just as in the weeds in, like wood finishes or whatever, but
Yeah.
yeah, I hear what you're saying. People are a little bit more active in the I don't know, in the fitness world. Like in terms of like the science and all that. Like there's not too much science discussion in woodworking, which is nice.
Yeah. And, honestly, like, sure, I would say the average body of a male. Like, I'm not any guy that's just like absolutely ripped or
Right.
anything. So it's just like,
Okay.
do I have a leg to stand on for like being a
Oh, I
personal
see.
trainer?
I
You know what I
see.
mean?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, if you made it your whole brand, I'm sure you could put on 10 pounds of muscle and you'd look pretty good.
Yeah. Chicken Legs by Eric Spenceley. That
Yeah,
would be my
yeah.
brand.
It's called yes, comma, skip leg day.
Yes, skip leg day. But see, that's the thing. Is I don't skip leg day, but I still got tiny legs. I'm not afraid of them. I got chicken legs.
Yeah, I mean, I've tried. I don't really work out because I'm so physical in my like day to day life.
Sure,
I
sure,
don't ever really get fat, but I also don't ever really get jacked either. I'm just kind of
sure.
yeah, just
For me, like I have to because especially working from home now, like
for
if I'm
sure.
just sitting on the computer all day, I'll look at my old lady Fitbit
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it'll be like, you have 1100 steps today. I was like,
yeah.
holy
Ooh,
moly,
ouch. Yeah,
I gotta get up.
yeah. I probably did like 500 squats today installing hardwood floor because it's like up, down, up,
Oh,
down,
sure,
up, down, up,
sure,
down. So that's where I get my workout.
sure, sure. I mean, I don't blame you.
Yeah.
Let's hit another one.
Okay,
And
let's do it.
we got a patron question,
Oh,
but I'm gonna save that one for the after show.
okay, okay. That makes
All
sense.
right. Oh, I was about to get seltzer burp. Oh my goodness. That mango one was getting me. We made Chinese lettuce wraps
Oh,
for
that
dinner.
sounds nice.
Yeah. And Miranda, she's the sauce boss. That's
Mhm,
what we
mhm,
call her. So she
mhm.
always makes the sauces. We keep forgetting to make notes on this recipe that 2 tablespoons of sriracha is too much.
Oh,
So we made this like 5 or 6 times. And every time we make it, First bite, we're like, "Oh god, this is too hot." Because it says to, like, add, like, a whole pound of chicken to this, and we're like sometimes we just make, like, totally veggie meals. We're not
Mhm.
vegetarians or anything. It's just like, "Oh, this sounds nice."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it's like we make the entire recipe with just out chicken.
Sure.
So it's assuming that you have a much larger quantity
Oh,
of
yeah.
food.
Yeah, yeah, the chicken soaks up some of the sriracha, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So so I got like the hot stomach going on. But anyway,
Mhm.
Patrick Ortiz. What we haven't read a Patrick Ortiz question in a while.
Yeah, I was gonna say I know the name is familiar, but I don't think
No,
we've read one in a bit.
I like Patrick Ortiz.
It's a good name, strong
Oh
name.
yeah. Very strong name. Seems like a definitely a name that I could see on the back of a sports jersey.
Ooh, yeah,
Like a
definitely,
good sports name.
definitely.
Okay, Patrick, the sportsman Ortiz wants to know what tools, jigs, or just little techniques did you find improved your woodworking quality most? Was there ever a moment where you found yourself thinking, Jesus, was there ever a moment where you found yourself thinking something like, oh, wow, why didn't I upgrade my saw blade earlier? Or just little things that made an outsized difference?
Yep. I have two things that come top of mind. You got anything top of mind?
I'll let you go first.
Okay, okay. So number one, CA glue. I didn't I didn't
Oh,
use CA glue until like 2 years ago. And now I use it for everything. Like
yes.
so often. It's my go-to to just like stick things together. Like even installing trim and and houses. All oh, I almost had a Canadian accent slip there. I almost said hooses. Um
Hooses. Do people say hooses?
no, no, I'm kidding.
I
Um
was like, what? That's why I haven't heard that one.
like if I'm installing like a 90-degree corner, I'll like CA glue it together before I install it so that all my angles are nice and tight. Um when I
Oh.
was I was working on like my little video game console the other day. I used CA glue to hold a bunch of little parts in place. I'm trying to
Mhm.
think. When I was doing my tiling in the shop, I used CA glue to hold all the tile edging in place well before I installed the mortar. It's one of those things where it's like you don't appreciate how often you use it until you have a bottle within arm's reach at all times.
So I have a boatload of CA glue,
Hmm.
but for me, like, I never, I guess it's still fairly new to me. So, like, I still never really think of it as something in my repertoire.
Yeah, I use it like another set of hands. Like if you need to just clamp something in place for a second, and you like, I'm trying to think of a good example of this, but if you need something to stay in place while you like saw it and you don't really care about your work surface, I'll just CA glue it in place and like
Yeah.
saw. Yeah. So,
Let's see. That CA glue is a good one. Quality clamps.
yeah, that's a good one. That is a good
Because I
one.
started off, like everybody, you had a budget. So I would go to Harbor Freight, your Princess Auto.
Oh, yeah. I just got a
And,
package from Princess Auto the other day.
oh, yeah. What'd you get?
I got a big it's not woodworking related. I got a big floor jack for my car. I'm thinking about making a YouTube video about this. I want to paint the wheels on my girlfriend's car cuz they're
Like
kind of
the plasti dip thing?
exactly,
Oh,
exactly.
that's super, super easy to do.
Yeah, yeah. So I want to do that because the paint on them is starting to chip a little bit and I think it would look really cool if they were black, so
Yes. The one thing if you do that, um, have you used it before?
yes, I've used it a couple times in the past.
Okay, yeah. So my tip with it is to spray a million really light coats.
Yes. So I actually got this stuff called Hyper Dip, which is like an evolution of Plastidip. It's like made
Oh.
specifically for automotive applications.
Oh, nice.
And the instructions are a little different. They say do two really light coats and then do like a medium heavy coat and then just keep doing
Really?
medium heavy coats until you run out of the stuff essentially.
Okay.
But the nice thing about the Hyper Dip is that they have it in all sorts of different colors and sheens. Like Plastidip is just like it's matte essentially, right?
And then you had to put like a clear
A
over
clear
it if you wanted something other than matte,
exactly,
but it
exactly.
never worked very well.
Yes, this has it like built in. So you
Oh,
can do
nice.
yeah, so you can just do like a one-step treatment, which should be really nice.
Hyper dip.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. I
So if
like
you're looking to, if you're looking to modify your Civic a little bit,
baby.
I'll let you know how it goes.
Oh,
But yeah,
baby.
I got a floor jack and some jack stands so that I can, get it up, get the wheels off nice and easy.
But see, that is the perfect use of like a Harbor Freight Princess
Yes.
Auto thing. It's like, okay, if you are someone who works on cars day in and day out,
Get the
no,
snap-on
that's not
stuff.
what you want.
Yeah.
But like, how often are you going to use that? Like
Yeah.
maybe twice a year?
Yeah. When I change from the winter tires to the snow tires, that's when I'll
Yeah.
use it at most.
No, you have to do that in Toronto. Does everybody change?
No, so on my truck, my truck is all-wheel drive, and I usually just run the all seasons all year round. I've like never had a problem stopping or sliding. I actually kind of enjoy sliding it around in the
Oh
snow
yeah.
on the rare occasion that it does snow. But Toronto gets like 2, 3 snowfalls a year. Like it's not crazy, and it's usually melted within a day, so it's not a big deal.
You're like me. I mean, you're not that far north of where I am, but
No,
you
I
probably
think
get a little bit of the like Lake Erie effect.
yes,
You get a
definitely.
little snow off that.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah. But I got the winter tires for the girlfriend's car because I love her more than I love myself.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame you. I do the
Yeah.
same thing.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Uh, so
I've
s-
so well, what?
we were talking about clamps. I feel like we went on a wild
Oh,
tangent there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I started out buying those like this is how this whole podcast
Yeah.
works. I think that would be a great name for other podcasts. Wait, what were you talking about?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or like we talked in the after show the last time where we both had said that we get off the podcast and then your girlfriends would be like, "What'd you talk about?" And you're
Yeah.
like, "I don't know."
Yeah. I don't know. We talked about hyper dip.
Hyper tip. Well, that should be a good name for the one where they get hyper tipped.
No, 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 no. The name of this episode is the one where Eric gets banned from Instagram.
Or one where they're banned from Instagram. I
Yeah.
like that. Where they are banned from Instagram. Okay, that's easy. Um, clamps. My God. Okay, so I this was like a 10 minutes ago. The clamps started out at Princess Auto Harbor Freight, and I would
Mhm.
buy those like $1.99, like 12-inch
Yeah.
trigger
Yeah.
squeeze clamp
Yeah.
things. And I was like, oh, man, what a deal. I'm getting all these clamps. But like they put like 4 pounds of clamping pressure on. So if you actually try to hold anything together, you're not doing
No,
anything.
I mean, might be good for like installing laminate or something, but you're not clamping a glue joint together with them.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, I still owe you a bunch of parallel clamps. I
Oh
still
yeah,
gotta send you those.
I was thinking about that the other day.
I got
I was like, oh,
I got tons of clamps
I
here.
never followed up on him about that.
Yeah.
So we'll talk off air about that.
I'll hold them hostage for that
Yeah.
CNC. No,
Oh
I'll
yeah.
send them to you. But like the first time I used like even just like getting a nice squeeze clamp, I was like, "Oh my gosh.
Dude,
This is a world of
a
difference."
nice squeeze clamp can actually put down a surprising amount of force.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got a
So
couple Irwin ones that are badass.
I got and I'll send some of these to you too because
Ooh.
she sent me way too many.
Okay. Okay.
Um they're the pony squeeze clamps.
Hmm.
Yes, they're a sponsor. They're not paying me for this. Um they're called heavy duty. I think one of them puts like 600 or 800 pounds of force.
Whoa. A squeeze
And
clamp
I
or a parallel
yes,
clamp? Oh, okay.
squeeze clamp.
Wow.
Like it is almost as much force as a parallel clamp. And so sure they're a little beefier, a little heavier, but like I put my, like an idiot
Yeah, you
guy, I
got to
put my
test.
hand in it and I was
Yeah.
like, I gotta squeeze it. And I was like, okay, I can get a lot more squeeze on this, and my hand already hurts.
Yeah.
I trust you. Those Harbor Freight ones, you can put your hand in it and you just like shake it off and it falls off.
What is that? Like, is it about the leverage that you have when you're squeezing or?
The handle is definitely has like a longer fulcrum on it for
Yes.
sure.
Yeah.
Um,
Is there like a ratchet in it? Or is it
there
just
might be,
okay, okay.
but the bar is also like thicker and sturdier.
I
Uh,
wonder if that helps you get a little bit more leverage too.
it might be. I don't know,
Interesting. Interesting.
but it worked pretty well. But I got some other tools. Oh man, what a segue! I got some other tools that I just picked up
Hmm.
a couple days ago that have been a massive game changer, and I am pissed I didn't buy these earlier,
I think I know what
but
these tools are.
you might.
Yeah,
I think I want to talk about this in the after show.
sounds good.
So, everybody, we truly appreciate you listening. If you want
Mhm.
to listen to even more and support the podcast, go over to patreon.com/off the cut podcasts. And I always forget, you can hit the little show description thing underneath it and the details. It's got a link right there.
Oh, nice. I didn't know
So
that.
that's what it's like on YouTube when you're like, a link is in the description.
Yeah, yeah. The for those of you watching on YouTube right now, the link is not in the description, and that's my fault, and I apologize for it.
Oh yeah, we gotta put
The
that like
default template or
auto
whatever. Yeah,
default thingy in there. But
yeah.
let's be
Even
real, the people in the live chat know that they know where to find us.
yeah, I think so far the live chat is composed 100% of patrons, so it'd be kind of redundant, anyways.
Yes. So you got anything for the people before we head over to the after show? I got the Civic warmed up. I'll drive.
No, just thank you for listening. Thank you for the support. We appreciate it, and we love making this podcast for you.
Send your positive thoughts towards me getting back on Instagram.
Yes, yeah. If you know anybody at Meta, Facebook, or Instagram, let them know. Eric's got to get back on the
Shoot them
platform.
my way. If you Google my name. Well, if you go to my website, you can email me,
There you go.
or on Instagram you can find my personal account. Not that I
Perfect.
ever really use that, but you'll find it. All right. Enough of that. We're heading the after show. We will see you guys next week, or we will see you as soon as you change apps.
Yes.
All right.
See
See
you,
you guys.
everybody. All right, stop on that. Any business to discuss in the live stream? I don't actually have the chat up, so I can't see.
Oh, I got it. Jason says, "Great show." Thanks, Jason. We
Thanks,
appreciate
Jason.
you, man. And Maker's Way said, "Chicken legs for the teenage soul needs to be the cover or a title of my book,
Chicken legs.
my fitness book."
I like it. I like it.
017 Eric Maine. We need to figure out how we can like throw the live stream on the patron thing.
I know there
But then
is.
does it like clutter up the patron feed?
Yeah, that's a discussion. I
Uh-oh. Did you kill it?
no, I kind of screwed it up by going to my YouTube and looking at the.
Oh
Man.
gosh. Now
So
are we YouTube inside of YouTube?
yeah, we're YouTube inside of YouTube is
Oh,
what
goodness.
happened. The people watching at home will understand. Sorry, guys. I
They
gotta be
always give you a
careful.
hard time for not being tech savvy.
I know. I am a boomer at heart.